You have been told your whole life that getting rich is about luck, about being born into the right family, about having the right connections. But if you look closely, you will notice something strange. Some people start with almost nothing and build real wealth. Others start with a lot and somehow lose it all. The difference is not just money. It is mindset, habits, and how they think about time, risk, and value. So in this video, I want you to do something simple. Pretend that for the next few minutes, you are not just listening for entertainment. Pretend you are rewriting the operating system in your brain about money. Every belief, every sentence you have repeated to yourself about wealth is a line of code. If that code is wrong, your life will keep crashing in the same ways. Let us start with belief number 1. Rich people are just lucky. This is a comfortable story because it removes responsibility. If it is all luck, then there is nothing you can do. You can scroll social media, complain about the system, and feel secretly safe. But the moment you accept that skills, strategy, and behavior matter more than luck over decades, your excuses start to dissolve. Look at it this way. Luck decides where you start. Mindset decides whether you stay there. You cannot choose your parents, your passport, your childhood, but you can choose whether you keep thinking like the environment that raised you or upgrade your thinking to match the life you say you want. Belief number 2. Money is evil. If deep down you believe that money corrupts people, that all rich people are bad, that having a lot means you must have stolen or exploited someone, how hard do you think your subconscious will allow you to push toward wealth? Not very hard. You will sabotage yourself, miss opportunities, and make sure you never become the thing you hate. The truth is simpler. Money amplifies what is already inside you. If you are generous, money lets you help more people. If you are selfish, money gives you more ways to serve only yourself. The tool is neutral. The user is not. So the real question is not, is money evil? But, who will I become if I have more money? And can I trust that version of myself? Belief number 3. I will start later when I earn more. This is one of the most expensive sentences in the world. Time is the only force in finance that the rich cannot buy back and the poor constantly waste. Compounding does not ask what salary you have. It asks how early you begin and how consistently you continue. Imagine 2 people. One starts investing a small amount every month in their 20s and stops in their 30s. The other starts only in their 40s and invests much more each month. Because of compounding, the first person can still end up with more. Starting early with discipline beats starting late with intensity. If you are hearing this now, today is the youngest you will ever be again. That means today is also the cheapest day to change your financial direction. Every month you wait, the price of delay goes up. Not in theory, but in real missed gains, missed skills, and missed chances. Belief number 4. I need a perfect plan before I act. Look at how this plays out. You watch videos. You collect threads. You fill notebooks. You feel productive. But your bank account does not move, because consumption is not creation. Information is not transformation until you execute. People who build wealth think in experiments, not in perfection. They do not say, I must know everything about business before I start. They say, I will start something small, learn from reality, and adjust. They treat every project like a test, not a final exam. They understand that the real education begins after they take the first step. The next mindset shift is about identity. Poor thinking asks, what can I buy with this money? Rich thinking asks, what can this money buy me in terms of freedom, assets, and future cash flow? One mindset turns energy into possessions. The other turns energy into systems that produce more energy. If you receive $1,000, there are many possible futures. You can buy clothes, gadgets, and nights out. The pleasure will fade in days. Or you can buy skills, books, courses, and tools that increase your earning power. Or you can buy assets, like a small index fund position, or the first materials for a side business. In 10 years, the first option is gone. The second and third options are still paying you. Here is another difference. People who struggle with money think mostly in terms of hours and wages. They ask, how much do I get paid per hour? People who build wealth think in terms of leverage. They ask, how can my work continue to pay me when I am not there? They look for ways to use code, media, teams, capital, and systems so that each decision creates results far beyond one unit of time. You might say, easy for them to say, they already have capital. But leverage exists even for beginners. Writing one helpful thread online is more leverage than complaining in private. Recording one video that educates people is more leverage than repeating the same advice to one friend 100 times. Building one simple product that solves a problem is more leverage than trading pure hours for a paycheck with no growth potential. Now let us talk about fear. Fear of risk keeps many people poor. They say, I do not want to lose money. So they choose the slowest, most predictable path. But over a long life, that choice can be the riskiest of all, because there is also a risk in standing still while the world moves, a risk in never upgrading your skills, a risk in trusting one employer, one paycheck, one country, one economy. Wealthy people are not fearless. They simply understand the difference between smart risk and stupid risk. Stupid risk is borrowing heavily to chase something you do not understand because everyone is excited. Smart risk is investing a reasonable amount of money, time, and energy into something you have studied, knowing that even if it fails, you will gain skills and information. Here is a simple rule. Never take a risk that can wipe you out completely. Never bet your entire life savings, your home, or your basic stability on one idea. Do not risk what you truly need for what you do not truly need, but also never pretend that zero risk exists. There is always risk. The question is whether you choose it consciously and get paid for taking it, or let it choose you while you stay unprepared. Another fundamental shift wealthy people make is from consumer to creator. Most people spend their day using what others built. They scroll apps they did not code, watch content they did not produce, wear brands they did not design. There is nothing wrong with enjoying products, but if you only ever consume, you are paying for someone else's creativity, never being paid for your own. At some point, if you want financial change, you must ask, what can I create that solves a real problem? What frustration have I felt that I can fix for my past self? What knowledge do I have that others would happily pay to save time or pain? This can be a digital product, a physical product, a service, a piece of software, a media channel, or even a better way to explain something complicated. Do not underestimate small beginnings. The first version of your product will not be perfect. Your first clients may be a handful of people. Your first video may get only a few views. But every asset you create is a seed. If you keep planting and improving the seeds, the garden eventually becomes larger than any single hour of wage work. Now let us talk about environment. You can change your mindset, but if you stay in a circle where everyone spends recklessly, complains about rich people, and laughs at self-education, your new code will keep getting overwritten. We mirror the expectations of those around us. If your friends mock you for saving, for investing, for starting a side project, you have a choice to make. You do not need to cut everyone off, but you do need to build at least one circle where thinking big, planning long-term, and talking about value creation is normal. This can be a small group chat, a community, a mastermind, even just a few online creators you follow closely and implement from. The point is to make growth feel less weird and more standard. Another hidden belief that quietly ruins finances is this: I deserve to feel good now. This belief is not always wrong, but if you never learn to delay certain pleasures, you are selling your future to pay for your present. The wealthy are not necessarily harder working every second. They are simply more willing to endure short-term discomfort for long-term gain. Think of going to the gym instead of scrolling, cooking at home instead of ordering every meal, spending an evening learning a skill instead of watching 3 hours of random content. These are small sacrifices, but compounded over years, they change your trajectory. You are not just saving money in each moment. You are building a brain that can stick to a plan. We also need to talk about financial literacy. Many people say they want to be rich but cannot explain the difference between revenue, profit, and cash flow. They do not understand interest rates, inflation, or the basic structure of a balance sheet. They sign contracts they do not read and take loans they cannot truly model. Wealthy people treat financial concepts as basic vocabulary. They may not be experts in everything, but they know enough to protect themselves, ask smart questions, and recognize when something does not make sense. You do not need a degree in finance. You do need a commitment to never again say, "I am just not good with money." That sentence is a curse. Replace it with, "I am learning how money works, step by step." Here are a few non-negotiable basics. Know how to track your income and expenses. Know how to read a simple profit and loss statement. Understand what an asset is and what a liability is in your personal life. Understand compound interest, both as something that can work for you in investments and against you in high-interest debt. Another mindset shift is from short-term goals to long-term systems. A lot of people set goals like, "I want to make $10,000 this month." If they fail, they feel useless. If they succeed, they often stop and celebrate so hard that they fall back. Wealthy people think more in systems. They ask, "What machine can I build that reasonably produces $10,000 a month for years, not just once?" A system can be a business model, a client pipeline, a content engine, a software product, a licensing deal, or a portfolio of assets. The key is that it can run with less and less direct effort over time, while continuing to create value for others. When you focus on systems, your question shifts from "how do I grind harder" to "how do I design better?" Let us also address comparison. In the age of social media, it is easy to see a 14-year-old claiming to make millions trading coins and feel like you are already behind. You are not behind. You are on your own timeline. Comparing your Chapter 3 to someone's highlight reel from Chapter 12 is a recipe for bad decisions. Wealthy thinkers compare less and measure more. They track their own net worth, skill growth, and portfolio performance over years. They know that if they are doing slightly better each year, making fewer mistakes, building stronger relationships, the compounding will handle the rest. Their competition is not some stranger online. Their competition is their own past self. Now, let us talk about one of the hardest mindset shifts. From victim to owner. Bad things happen, economies crash, jobs vanish, currencies inflate, health problems appear. None of this is your fault, but all of it becomes your responsibility. Victim thinking asks, "Why is this happening to me?" Owner thinking asks, "Given that this has happened, what do I do next?" Owning your situation does not mean blaming yourself for everything. It means recognizing that no one is coming to rescue you. Governments can help. Companies can employ you. Family can support you. But ultimately, your financial destiny will be shaped by your decisions more than by their promises. That realization is scary at first, but over time, it is incredibly empowering. Finally, understand this. Wealth is not only about numbers in an account, it is also about how you feel waking up in the morning. Do you own your time, or does someone else own it? Are you constantly anxious about bills, or do you have a margin of safety? Do you know that your skills are valuable in multiple places, or are you dependent on one fragile situation? When you change your thoughts about money, you are not just chasing a bigger house or a nicer car. You are building a life where you can say no to toxic clients, to bad bosses, to unethical projects. You are buying back the freedom to spend time with people you love, to work on problems you care about, to rest without guilt. So as we close, let me leave you with a simple challenge. Over the next 30 days, do 3 things. First, choose one limiting belief about money that you will no longer repeat. Maybe it is, I am just bad with money, or people like me cannot get rich. Catch it, replace it, every single time. Second, commit to learning one concrete financial skill. It could be understanding how index funds work, how to price your services, how to read a basic contract, or how to build a simple digital product. Make your learning active, not passive. Take notes. Apply what you learn in a small way. Third, take one step from consumer to creator. Post something useful. Build something small. Offer a service. Talk to a potential client. Ship one imperfect piece of value into the world. It does not matter if the result is tiny. What matters is that you cross the line from only taking to also giving. If you do these things repeatedly, your external wealth will eventually start to catch up with your internal changes. Not overnight, not magically, but steadily, like a flywheel that is difficult to start and impossible to stop once it is in motion. You cannot control luck. You cannot rewrite your past. But you can rewrite the thoughts that guide your next decision and the next after that. And over years, those decisions will do something that looks a lot like magic from the outside. Change your thoughts, change your habits, change what you build, and slowly but surely, you will change your wealth.